Yeah, it's official. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to get running with the running ref. Now, what's all that about? Health, nutrition, awareness, officiating, the heat of the moment, the game. What's it look like physically and psychologically? So we do have the running ref here with us right now. So Austin, the running ref, my good friend, welcome and thank you for your time. Greatly appreciated. Waiting to be educated, brother.
All right, appreciate it, Richie. I'm glad to be on here. Let's get to it.
Uh, Referee, before you actually go out there on the field, mate, and do all your stuff, whether it be soccer, basketball, whatever sport it is, there's a lot of preparation work outside of learning the laws of the game, mate. How have you integrated your program? What does it look like in all that pre-match? Your pre-match program, Austin.
Yeah, so physical preparation is extremely important. We have to understand that referees and officials have to be able to do the same things that all of the players have to be doing on the field, right? So if I want to make the right calls, I've got to be able to physically perform the movements and be in the right places at the right times to do that. And fitness is a big part of that as well. So if we're talking pre-match, movement prep is important. So you get out, you get loose, you move your body around and get ready for the task ahead of you, okay? Then you slowly get amped up and ready for the game. And by the time you've gone through an entire warm-up, here you are, you're ready to perform.
Prior to that, you've got your game day, allocated your game, whatever it is, a cup final or just a regular, maybe a youth game, lower level, or an MLS game or NBA game. You've done that warm-up just as a player would, right?
Yeah.
What can you do before that game? What does it look like to keep myself in shape, athletically? What can I do during the week physically, myself?
So I think the training is, not quite a full-time job, but it takes up a lot of your time. You have to stay physically fit. So in the coming days, if you know what day you have to perform at, you can work backwards from that time period. You can work your recovery the day after the game. You get in a couple short workouts throughout the course of the week to make sure that you're physically fit and in shape. You're strong, healthy, and doing all the things from the weight room standpoint that you need to do as well. But then you have to tie in your nutrition and the recovery pieces to that. So there is a lot that goes into physical preparation, as we kind of mentioned, and a referee has to take the same intent that a player would in that aspect.
Talk me through how you initiated this program and what your session would look like in terms of, for you personally, Austin, recovery. Talk us through that process, mate, what you actually do.
So a single session, okay? So a single session for us in person is about an hour long, give or take, okay? So show up, lace up the work boots, get on the field, okay? So initially we'll start with some things on the ground as, the movement prep begins. And that's like there's some prehabilitation exercises that go into that. There are some joint mobility exercises and some hip resets, okay? So if we're not feeling good, if the body's not in alignment, we're probably not going to perform very well and we're not ready to go. After that, we'll get up onto our feet. We'll go through some dynamic movements at that point, okay? So still warm up, still considered movement prep, but trying to build a total athlete, right? I need you to move well in all directions. I need you to move at speed. I need you to do some power exercises as well. It's not just like a cross-country race, okay? Like there's intent and focus as an athlete that goes into each of these things. Once we finish that small portion, now we've given about 15 minutes to all the movement prep things that we put into a series. We'll go into sprint-specific drills. So if I'm asking you to run and be efficient, be technical, stay safeguarded against injury, and to run faster, I need to teach you technically and mechanically how to get your body into better positions to do so. So We'll spend about another 10 minutes on sprint drills. Okay?
Yeah, go on. Yeah, you're good.
So we'll spend another 10 minutes on sprint-specific drills and try to become a better runner and a better mover. After that, we do get into the conditioning session because fitness is of the utmost importance. So there's some straight line conditioning, there's stopping, starting, there's cutting, there's shuffling. It's a multi-directional conditioning session because if you look at the demands of what an official or a referee has to do on the field, they have to move in all directions. They have to do it at full speed at a jogging pace. So there's a variety of things that we put into place and grow the volume over the course of the year to make sure that they're ready to perform on game day.
Would this be available to, your younger level, different ages? The young referee coming in, is it, training for that? Does it differ to, let's say, your NBA championship official or your FA, your World Cup final or lacrosse final? Is there different stages how you would deal with that client or that group of officials?
Yeah, definitely. We start with a basic kind of laying the groundwork in our initial program. And then we have the ability for an elite level program, which would be someone who's in the NFL, someone who's in the Premier League, somebody who is in the NBA as well, right? And on that basis, then it gets a little bit more in depth and some one-on-one time. Hey, we really need to dial in and perfect what we're doing with you specifically. So, right. And then at that point, we've got to talk into nutrition a little bit more, dial in recovery, travel time. So it really gets very in depth at that level.
Unlike, I'm assuming, educate me, unlike the officials are athletes anyway, right?
That's right.
Is it the intensity of that, the build-up of that, just like the athlete would for the game, the big game, whatever it is, would that still apply to, the officials, whatever sport that may be, that build-up process to the big game?
On game day or over the entire course of the year?
I'm looking, let's see. I'll tell you what, on game day, what's game day look like? And then if you'd be kind enough to move onto what that annual structure for ticking over, because officials can do a ton of games, right, over a year, right, mate?
Oh, man, yes. I mean, a lot of officials go through more games than a lot of players do, right. Especially. So, so specifically game day, all right?
Yes, please.
I'm going to, depending upon what time, my match is on that specific day, I'm going to wake up in the morning and I'm going to eat a good breakfast. I'm going to try to loosen up. And for me, that would be going for a walk. That would be doing some mobility exercises within my home or within the hotel that I'm staying at. I'm going to go for a little bit of a walk, but I'm going to get into my normal routine and maybe just stay away from some foods that would bloat me or any exercises that would fatigue me. But I need to get my body up and moving at the same time, okay?
Hey, we're going to have a laugh with that. That was the English breakfast. We did speak about that pre-show, mate. So that was just a little joke. Pardon me. Deadly
serious. Looks pretty good.
What no. Let's move on properly. Thanks for that. Thanks for that Spielberg behind the scenes. Continue, Austin. My bad, mate. Cheers, mate.
Yeah, so depending on what time that game is on that day, the only other things that would go into place is I need to continue to fuel myself. So whether that's another meal or I need to continue to stay hydrated. Just for the record, water is not the only way that I can stay hydrated, okay? I don't want to over bloat myself with a ton of water. There's a lot of different elements that you need to go into hydration, but fuel and hydration up until that game time, making sure that I'm getting adequate amount of food, and then I have snacks laid out for me, at halftime. All the players get snacks during halftime, obviously, if they want it to refuel and recharge. Referees and officials are athletes too, and they need the same thing, okay? So as we work up to game time, now I get to the locker room. Some locker room spaces, are very small and tight. So you have to be creative in some of the things that you can do. But in our program, there are a lot of stationary exercises and warm-ups that we do in place that take away from some of the time that we need on the field, okay? So there's a lot of things that you can do in the locker room to start preparing yourself. So then I work myself closer up to game time, right? Once I get the ability to go out onto the field before all of my tactical duties, before any pregame meetings or things that I need to clean up before those take place, now I'm going to start going through all of my dynamic movements. So all the things that we do in our training sessions with the dynamic portions, skips, backwards runs, lateral shuffles, power skips for height, full speed sprints, short duration, but now all of those things go into game time and are going to amp me up and make sure that physically I'm ready to go when the whistle blows. I'm ready to move. I'm ready to get after it. Did you want to move on to the annual plan?
Yeah, go straight into that. Yeah, that'd be brilliant, mate.
So we talked about the ability to have different levels of a program, right? Just like any athlete, right? I'm not going to do the same training program for a youth athlete as I would for an NBA star, right?
Sure.
So these programs are progressive. So I want to start with that. I mean, everybody starts at 0, right? You're beginning of your off season, you're well rested, you've recovered from any injuries, nicks, knacks, bruises that accrued from the previous season. I'm ready to start training again. My body feels good, it's fresh. So once I start at ground zero, I'm working myself up to be prepared for that first game. So really, when I'm planning the yearly calendar, I'm working off of the last game, building out the entire in-season model to make sure that that lines up with it. But once I get to the first game, I'm still working backwards to that first off-season date. Now that's where the program is extremely progressive. So the beginning of it starts slow and the intensity builds throughout the whole course of the year. The volume kind of stagnates. That's where I think a lot of people mess up in training programs. They just volume to death. Injuries occur, fatigue sets in. Intensity is one of the bigger things that we need to help us prepare, ultimately for high performance.
So you mentioned that, blow up effect of like just rolling it out there too much in a short space of time. So is it almost like a calendar of events through, say, let's say it's an 8-10 month season. Let's run that. So you'd have that on your calendar relative to game time. You would have that calendar of events with progressive. Is that what I'm getting from you?
100%. And benchmarks in between, right?
Right. So, explain what's that mean, mate?
So exactly what you said. You've got to look at the calendar. The calendar gives you the answers. You fill in the gaps with what's necessary, right? So if I know 3 months from now, I need to be prepared for the FIFA fitness test to ensure that I am ready to perform at the highest level, right? So I mark back 3 months. There's got to be a couple things in the middle that tell me I'm trending in the right direction and I'm doing well, or I need to reassess and reevaluate my program. A program is just a guideline, right? It gives me the steps in place to achieve a goal. Now, I can deviate from that whether I'm doing extremely well or I'm getting injured and maybe I'm performing poorly, or I'm not getting enough work in. The benchmarks happen in between, and they can be just subtle events that give us the ability to tell where we're at in space.
What does I'll throw this one at you, mate? I'm curious. I used to be a former athlete. Well, I'd like to think so, mate. Anyway,
we all were, right?
Yeah, right. What does, can I call it active rest? What does those little down periods, those rest times, look like for you as an official? What would you encourage coming from your experience? Is that, as I say, downtime, that rest period, mate?
Yeah, I mean, there is a ton of options that you have. My personal favorite is a pool workout. So I don't mean a hot tub, but a pool workout. It's very low intensity. It's very, very joint friendly. I can do whatever I want. I can swim, I can jump, I can do some drills in place, I can run in place, I can get my heart rate up, but I'm taking a lot of my body weight off. That's the benefit of it. And the pool feels good. I mean, who doesn't feel better when they get out of a pool, right? So active recovery, active rest, a pool is one of my favorites. Any low impact cardio, I think you can do a lot of interval training and different things like that. Kettlebell swings for time. You could go for walks, hill walks. Resisted running is actually a very good one. And it's very, very low impact on the body. So all of those are extremely, extremely good options. And then obviously your joint mobility exercises as well fit into that.
I'm not here to sell your product. I'm here to educate everybody, as well as myself, Austin, on your program. If I'm not an official, could I do this anyway? Just as an old boy like me, just to stay reasonably fit, reasonably flexible. Could you just put it out there as well? Do you do that?
We don't, as far as I know. I mean, I think that everybody on the program is an official, but sure, if you would like to, you're more than welcome, because it has all elements that an athlete needs, and there's no difference in someone who's not an athlete and someone who is an athlete in training. Sure, I might choose some different exercises that I like, but there's elements of running, there's elements of recovery and mobility, there's elements of progressive training, total body weightlifting. So with those things being said, sure, I'm going to drop body fat. I'm going to get in physically better shape. So sure, I don't see any reason why someone that just works at Walmart down the road can't get into this program and benefit from it.
Because obviously we've exchanged a few conversations, and I've seen some of the a lot of what you do out there on the media, and we'll throw this out anyway when we send this out to our viewers for everybody to have a look at it. I've actually integrated some of your, I wouldn't say programs, but some of your, little things that you do that I've seen there. I thought, well, I'm knocking on a bit, mate. These apply to me. It's come across to me as almost like a buffet, and I can go to the buffet table and just pick out some stuff. So I'm gonna say thank you for that, mate, and hopefully these old bones and everything will work for a few more years, Austin.
Well, good. I mean, if there's any how-to videos that I can do to make those old bones feel even better, let me know. I'm more than happy to do some of those personalized videos. I encourage people DM me, hey, if there's something you don't know about or want to know, let's cover it.
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, I'm going to how did you get into all this?
Man, I was an
all this? What sparked it all? Thought, I'm going to do this. I don't see a lot of quality programs like this that you have produced, Austin. To be fair, that's it. I'm flying the flag for you there, mate. I
appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It's been an extreme evolution. My dad was a track coach. I was a college baseball player, actually. Played high school sports, every youth sport you could imagine growing up. I always wanted to know why. That's probably what got me into the sports science and really the research mindset. And I always just wanted to be better and better at something. So I had a high school weightlifting coach who actually trains a couple of Olympians right now. One named Sarah Robles, who just medaled for the U.S. team. He taught me all of the elements of the snatch, the clean and jerk, and I just became in love with training, from my dad's background and this guy's background. His name is Tim Swords, by the way, if any international weightlifting fans are listening. Then I go to college and play baseball. I finish up with a few injuries here and there, and my dad convinced me to start graduate assisting at the college that I finished playing baseball at, and then I looked for a summer internship, and before you know it, I'm moving all around the country, going to every seminar, listening to every podcast, and just became obsessed with it. Long story short, here we are.
You mentioned mindset research. Obviously, you've investigated that. What have you taken from your research and implemented that into your program, Austin?
I think it always started with me, right? I learned something to teach myself why and to make either myself or my athletes better. Then I had to find answers. It's all objective, right? Weightlifting and running are two of the most objective things that can teach us about the training process. So either the weight on the bar is going up or my times are getting faster. One of the two. And if not, now I've got to find answers as to why. I have to be able to look in the mirror and figure out exactly what is necessary for me to continue to improve. So, that was just a big driver for me. And then I always wanted my programs to get better, but it's not good enough just for the program to be positive on paper. My athletes have to actually convey the message that I'm trying to give them. That's where I think a coach can really make an impact. Is sure, the scientific approach is very, very important, but at the same time, I've got to be able to convey a message to people. And I think it was Albert Einstein who, said, if you can't explain it to a youngster, you don't understand it well enough. So, you got to take all the research. You got to be able to simplify it and make sure that a youth athlete could understand it. And if a youth athlete can understand it, you're probably doing a pretty good job.
Makes perfect sense. Your programs for all sports, right? Am I wrong? Many sports, right?
Yeah, many. In my time, I've worked with, almost every sport at the collegiate level. Women's soccer at one of the universities, football at every university, and men's baseball. As far as Runnin ref is concerned, right now we are football, American football, soccer, which within our program we call international football program. And then we are in the process of uploading a basketball version as well, because we have some officials in basketball that are reaching out, wanting to train and get better and move better on the court. So we're in the process of working on the basketball version right now.
You said international. I know that recently, you know where I'm going with this. You've linked up with, I think my home country across the. How did that? I'll ask you in a bit. What are you doing? How did that materialize by UK-US link?
Social media.
Brilliant.
Trying to get this program, the word out to more and more people, meet more people, just talk to people. I never want to come across as like a salesman to anybody, even though I am, running a business. But meeting more people, just chatting with people, commenting, hey, that's a really good video. That's really cool. We formed a connection, and I think we liked each other's content well enough, and we had a conversation, and we decided, hey, let's chat a little bit on WhatsApp. We did that, got a little Zoom call going, and before you know it, we formed a partnership to where we wanted to give a discounted rate to the members within that group, for signing up and joining our program.
Did you get any feedback from maybe the difference in, let's say, culture? Because it is different. The spelling's certainly different, mate. Anyway, but on the cultural side, did you receive any feedback from them that you may implement into, say, oh, okay, I can deal with that as well and add it into my program? Any feedback?
Yeah, number one was obviously the metric system. The United States does not use the metric system, so that was a big piece. They don't want to see it in yards and pounds, right? They want to see it in metric conversions. So that was number one. The other is the calendar is way different from American football. That's one of the reasons for separate programs. And then you go into soccer, international football, if you will. And obviously at that point, there's different calendars for every level as well. So those were the two biggest things that helped drive that program, was the metric system and finding the differences in the calendar and the time periods.
Yeah, when you say the calendar, how if you're dealing with that over there and dealing with obviously the US calendar, how do you integrate the two? It's probably very simple, but how do you do that?
So that's where the difference is in the program. So whenever the program is implemented for the American football, it's a calendar on the app itself, right? So you go in, select American football, and it lines up with the Super Bowl. The day after the Super Bowl is actually the start date for that one, okay? Then it goes year round. In season begins in August or so. So It just shifts, and exercises change for the soccer program.
Have you got any plans of going over there, mate?
Nothing set in stone, but I think I mentioned it to you during a text message. A couple different referee associations within the UK that we've spoken with and talked to. Right. Definitely would like to make, maybe like a week-long trip out of it and do some in-person demos for different referee associations and stuff like that. So I have a passport. I travel international, so I would love to get something set up.
Well, maybe we can connect at some stage over the next couple of weeks, Austin, and maybe lock in a few things. And hey, if you need a travel partner and a tour guide,
let's go.
Brilliant.
We can have all that English breakfast.
I was going to say, mate, maybe just some scrambled eggs and avocado or something, and a glass of orange juice.
I just need to know how good the coffee is in the UK. That's important to me.
Yeah, don't even go down that road, mate. So it's okay. You probably have to go to a franchise. The tea's good, mate. My family are all, the kids and brothers and sisters over there make a good cup of tea, mate. So we'll chase that up further on down the line if that's okay with your good self.
Absolutely.
So do you obviously we've got the program, brilliant, and the younger age groups. What are the asked questions from like an up and coming apprentice? Maybe teenager, official. Let's stick with soccer because that's sort of my wheelhouse. It says to you, I'm 16. I'm in the grassroots. I can be an assistant referee. I might go into be a centre for the younger kids. But I want to referee the World Cup, Austin. That's what I want to do. Like a kid that plays, I want to play for my country. I want to play pro. Have you got any of those on board? And what would that change maybe your program to guide that over several years, probably?
Yeah, I think that definitely would, because part of training is the development piece, right? I want to help you develop over time. So I think the ins and outs and the questions and the feedback from those people that go through the program for a long period of time, I think that really helps drive the program. So I think that, it has to stick with the scientific basis, and training is training. You have to just be consistent. Sometimes I don't need to necessarily bench press or incline. I don't necessarily need to run, half gassers or full gassers. I need to just consistently train and stay healthy to develop and get to the next level. So I think the long-term feedback from those people would be helpful and we see where that drives the program. Definitely down the road. I think that's the biggest piece for the younger grassroots level referees.
So that's a long-term plan, isn't it? Because there's going to be, where do these referees come from anyway? They have a goal and ambition. I'm not going to play the game, or I want to officiate, and that's my goal. If let's say there's any of your clients comes in, they've got they're physical, they're good. They've got everything going to officiate a high level game if they wish to do so. Have you ever had, one of your clients come back and say, I'm not enjoying this? So on that psychological side, I've got all the preparation, but Austin, I don't know if I'm falling out of love with the game. Have you dealt with anybody like that in your program psychologically?
Yeah, recently actually. I think it was more or less due to someone who is just a little bit older and going through, just some physical health things. Okay. And I didn't get into depth about that, but yeah, definitely. I think there's at some point, people can fall in and out of love with it, and it's, hey, I'm understanding, but your choice to be a referee is your choice. I can help you as much as I can with the physical side and improving yourself, your body, your image. Your physical fitness, but on the other side of things, I can't do a whole lot for you if you're, falling out of love with basketball or football,
Would you say that officials have got to, I would say almost like thick skin to deal with copious amounts of whatever from the fans, the coach,
criticism?
Yeah. So would you say that there's that strength of character, almost courage to say, I'm going to do this? They've got that psyche to go, I've got some strong character. Would you agree with that? Throw me off keel.
Absolutely. I mean, you see it with the players all the time, right? The players get trash talk from people in the stands or other players. I mean, now officials and referees, they don't just get it from the fans, they get it from the players as well. So they get it from everybody. They get it from the media just as the players. So you do have to have thick skin. There is no doubt about that, because you're not going to make the right call all the time. You're a human, you're not a robot. So it's impossible. But you do the best you can. You're honest with it, and you move on from it. But you have to have thick skin, or it's going to be a tough road sometimes.
What did your first game look like when you went out there as an official?
To be honest with you, I have not officiated a game.
Fantastic. I know I throw you a curveball at some stage. I did not know. I did not know that. So what's the magnetism for this then? I love it.
That might be a curveball for everybody then. So here's the background story then.
Brilliant.
So everybody is aware, because that was a major curveball for everybody. So 9 years as a college strength and conditioning coach, various sports, studying movement, weightlifting, sprinting, all of the things, rehabilitation, return to play. That's where, my love for all of the training became. I moved to Dallas, Texas, and got out of college athletics. And I met with a couple of American football officials. And they said, hey, we want to move up on the level. We need to get in better shape. We've had some nagging injuries. We were told we need to run better. We need to become more technical. We need to get in specific shape. Can you help us? And I said, of course. I don't know exactly what that looks like yet. I mean, I drew up the initial plan. We agreed to meet in person. I didn't know if I would get paid for it. I didn't know what it would turn into. Right. I agreed to meet them. Brilliant. That was that. So I said, hey, okay, here's what we're going to do in the session. We're going to go over dynamic warm-up. We're going to talk and get to know each other. Tell me about your injury history. I'm going to teach you some sprint drills. I'll video. We'll go in depth a little bit, slow it down, and show you how your movements look. We'll do some multi-directional conditioning. So then at that point, I'm really starting to study officiating and refereeing. We finished with some deceleration exercises and some body weight strength exercises, and I give them homework to do. Okay, so once I give them homework to do, here's where over time the thoughts keep coming. So they loved the session, they really enjoyed it, they learned a ton, and their feedback was phenomenal. Well, the next time we met, about a month later, they brought a couple more officials, and before you know it, we have more and more American football officials out here with us. Now I'm really going in depth. So what they told me at that point was, hey, you can never yell at a referee again. So that was, and we've just created a bond. And So I'm sending homework to a lot of guys, and we're sending text threads, and hey, this is how I'm feeling. This is how my training progress is going. That's where Runnin' Ref was built. That's where the idea of uploading workouts online with demonstration videos, text descriptions, all of these things laid out for them in place. That's where we got the idea to, put it online, and here we are today.
So it was just happenstance. It was like, hey, boom, 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 and there you are now, right?
Yeah, I mean, my college strength coach was the one that reached out to me, actually. He said, hey, would you like to work with these guys or just talk to them and see where it goes? And I was like, yeah, man, I'm down to help people however I can. I'll send them some videos or drills, and here we are. So blessing. I couldn't enjoy it more, and these guys have become very close friends to me. So not an official, but I will give you a little, next month, I will be suiting up as an official, and I will be going through officiating courses, and I will be on the field officiating. So you're not allowed to laugh at me.
I would never do that, brother. You know that anyway. I'm pleasantly surprised and supremely impressed that you've come that pathway to. You've started your season backwards, right?
Yeah,
it's almost
definitely
like your personal calendar. So you've come in with the football. Did you then go and educate yourself in other forms of sport? Obviously, was football your biggest thing? You followed that, and then you've educated yourself in other sports. Backwards again? Is that how it happened?
Definitely. I mean, no matter what sport, to be completely honest, everybody watching knows this, okay? When I'm a fan in the stands or I'm a coach on the sideline, I am not paying attention to the referees or the officials. I paid attention to them more in college football than anybody else, probably because I'm getting coaches back off the sidelines. After that, you don't watch what officials do, only when they throw the flag and it affects your team negatively. That's the only time that you see them in American football. So, yes, from that aspect, then I started diving in each position on the field and learning, hey, this is what a back judge does. This is what a line judge does. This is what their movements. And now I don't even watch the football anymore. Now I'm like watching these guys everywhere they're going, okay, take another spin. Now I start watching that in basketball when the NBA finals are on right now. I'm like looking for the officials, what they're doing on the court. Then you go into soccer. Now I'm learning that there's so many different levels of officiating. There's different fitness tests to prepare them for the game. There's different requirements that they need. There's different timelines for each league and each level around the globe. So there's a lot of differences, and there's a lot of things that I've learned. But, just with my background of movement and physical preparation and strength and conditioning, now it's just matching up the right things at the right time for them. It's, you know what I mean? I'm not asking, a waiter to change my oil. I'm the expert. I'm just learning about exactly the timelines to put it in. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if I put research with feedback from your learning process in several different sports, have you sort of taken that on as a sponge and, just said, okay, I didn't know this. I'm getting actual personal feedback from either your clients or all those high end or those officials. Have you taken all that in as well?
Yeah, 100%. So I don't ever want, like ego to come into it and say, know what you're telling me. I'm not going to listen. I take it all in. I try to ask people for feedback frequently. Hey, what do you like? What do you not like? I try to engage people on social media, so that I can understand where they're coming from as well and their point of view and their lifestyle to make this better. That's the whole reason to get feedback from people. I want to improve it. I want to make it better. But the end result is to make each referee better, right? If you're feeling good on the field, if you're physically improving, if you have less injuries than you've had in previous seasons, that's definitely a huge, huge goal, right? I mean, health is wealth. Everybody wants to feel good. Everybody wants to perform at the highest level.
And implementing the program, you have the potential to be the best you can, both on and off the field, right?
That's right.
And that's all we aspire to. I'm going to get thrown out of the studio because that's one of Anthony's favourite gigs. He gets rid of me. But I can't. I'm going to say thank you. That's always my personal hat trick. Austin, we will cross paths again. I don't know whether that's a good thing for you or a bad thing, but I like to be the devil's advocate and just ask you some more questions. And thank you for sharing everything. Thank you. Can't let you go without doing a quick fire 5 questions. off the bat, which is pretty much as the whole show is and the way we like it. So I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Question number 1. Somebody's an official. What would be your number 1 piece of advice above anything else?
Be consistent all year long in your training program. Consistency wins all the time.
You are going down. These are all off the cuff, mate. This is brilliant. You're gonna suit up, right?
That's right. In about a month.
Okay. So let's say you are going to suit up in any stadium on the planet. Challenge yourself. Any sport. Where do you want to be running at?
When I've actually gone through this in my mind before, Dallas Cowboys Stadium here in Dallas. Going to games there is incredible. It's a loud environment. The Cowboys fans are incredible. Now, if I'm an official, obviously that could work against me because with the recent success of the Cowboys, one bad call, you're on the chopping block. But Dallas Cowboys Stadium, it's very loud. It's a beautiful place, and it's close to home, and it just has a good feeling for me.
Brilliant. That's a pretty good choice. Okay, you've mentioned the sport and the stadium. I'm going to throw you outside of NFL. You're going out there, you know the rules. You're all set. Here we go. A championship game, whatever sport. You're going out there. Pick a championship game or series for that matter, Austin.
Right
Just for
now,
the fun of it. Yeah.
Right now, the World Cup. I would pick the World Cup final. Largest sport in the world, right? Has the most viewers worldwide. I mean, you're not just talking American basketball, right? You're not just talking even tennis worldwide. You're talking the World Cup. There's people that don't even watch soccer here in America that tune in for the World Cup finals and to watch that, especially if their country's playing. So that would be it for me. That millions and millions of people watching.
We that's not bad actually. So if you're in the centre, I'll do the AR, mate, with the flag. I can just about manage that, mate. Number 4, we're all, every sport are encouraging youngsters to get involved in officiating. You're already taking care of them. What information, what recommendation, what advice would you give to the parents of those young officials coming into the game? What advice? Their direct parents, not the masses on the sideline, not those, but the parents of your clients, those young officials.
I would have them educate themselves as well, you know? I mean,
Brilliant.
I would have them educate themselves. You got to do your own research from stuff, right? Just because, fruits and vegetables are supposed to be good for me, I need to know why. I need to know, what am I getting out of them? Is there antioxidants in them? Is there anything bad? Is there anything that doesn't sit well with my blood type? There's questions to ask for everything. I would say educate yourself always so you can help your kids, you know?
Yeah, great support mechanism, right?
Absolutely.
I'm going to get thrown out. Question number 5 is, would you please leave our viewers, and anybody sees this, at a later date as well, with one final message to everyone out there? Austin, cheers, mate. Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me. If you guys have any questions at all, you can always contact me, austin@runninref.com. You can check out our website, runninref.com, or get to me on any social media platform, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Be more than happy to help. Thanks again, Richie, for having me.